All right. Good evening, everyone. Time is 7:05 p.m. and now that a quorum is present, everyone please stand as we do the invocation and pledge allegiance and call to order this regular city council meeting. Father Henry.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Let us pray. Almighty God, we thank you for bringing us together this evening in service to the people of Manor. We ask your blessing upon our mayor, council members, and all who gather here. Grant them wisdom to discern what is just, courage to make decisions that promote the common good, and humility to listen to one another with respect and care. Bless our city, its families, schools, and businesses. Protect our first responders and all who work for the safety and well-being of our community. May our deliberations tonight be guided by fairness, integrity, and a genuine desire to build a city of peace, prosperity, and opportunity for all. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you may be seated. All right, council members, we got a couple of proclamations today. The first of which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, declaring the month of October 2025 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas breast cancer is one of the most common cancers among women worldwide, and early detection and treatment can significantly improve survival rates. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month, observed annually in October, aims to raise awareness and the importance of early detection, promote research, and support those impacted by breast cancer. And whereas it is fitting for the city of Maine to join in recognizing the importance of breast health and supporting efforts to combat this disease. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Christopher Harvey, Mayor of the City of Manor, Texas, and on behalf of the Manor City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. In the City of Manor, encourage all residents and organizations within the city to participate in activities that promote breast health awareness, screening, and the support for those affected by breast cancer. In witness hereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the seal of the City of Manor this first day, October 2025. Dr. Christopher Harvey, Mayor, City of Manor. Our next one is, did y'all want to get a photo for that? Y'all good? Good? All right. Next one is declaring the month of October 2025 also as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas since 1981, October has been designated as the National Domestic Violence Awareness Month to shine a light on the widespread impact of domestic violence, honor the courage of survivors, and strengthen our collective commitment to providing pathways to safety, healing, and justice. And whereas domestic violence is not confined to any one group, but crosses all communities regardless of age, race, gender, or socioeconomic status, with more than 1 in 3 women and more than 1 in 4 men in the United States having experienced this type of violence during their lifetime. Whereas every individual deserves to live in a safe, healthy relationship, free from physical, emotional, sexual, and financial abuse. In 2024, the Manor Police Department's Victim Service Unit supported approximately 100 individuals affected by domestic violence through nearly 200 contacts, guiding survivors in understanding their rights and accessing resources. Whereas our domestic violence survivors of domestic violence need the continued support of their families, friends, neighbors, and most importantly, their communities. And whereas during National Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month, the City of Manor stands with tens of millions of survivors, recognizing their strength and resilience. We join with others across Texas and the nation in supporting survivors, as well as local programs, state coalitions, national organizations, and agencies committed to increasing public awareness and sending a clear message that domestic violence is not tolerated in our community. And now, therefore, I, Dr. Christopher Harvey, Mayor of the City of Manor, Texas, and on behalf of the Manor City Council, do hereby proclaim month of October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the City of Manor, Texas, and urge all residents to engage in efforts to prevent and respond to domestic violence, support survivors, and recognize its lasting impact on our community. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the seal of the City of Manor on this first day of October 2025. Dr. Christopher Harvey, Mayor, City of Manor. Do we have our victim service folks that want to come up, take a photo? All right. Anyone y'all want to come back? I want to give them a round of applause for the work they do in our community.
We're making it a habit.
Well, so it condenses. Oh, they're farther to the left.
Got it? It's a selfie.
No,
Us.
Tippy toe, 'cause she-
Tippy toes.
Okay. Ready? One. There you go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3.
She said, just kidding.
Okay. Next on the agenda is public comments, non-agenda items. On the public comments are on the white card. Comments will be taken from the audience on non-agenda related topics for this time not to exceed 3 minutes per person. Agenda item, public comment cards that are yellow. Comments will be taken from the audience on non-agenda items and agenda items for a combined time, length of time not to exceed 5 minutes total per person on all items, except for public hearings where it's 2 minutes per person. No action or discussion may be taken by City Council during public comments on non-agenda items. First up, we have Mr. Robert. And you have 5 minutes, sir. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and if you don't mind telling me when 3 minutes is done,
Sure.
then I'll do the agenda item. Yeah, I think I was very prescient when I did a Freedom of Information Act request to see the results of the GPR, the ground penetrating radar at the Manor Cemetery. I did a Freedom of Information Act. I was given a bill of $18. I paid that, but I didn't get what I asked for. I did not get the map of the bodies, and I did not get the account number of the $32,500 was spent, and I can't see what it was spent on, and I can't see what account it was put in. That's basically baloney. I want that Public Information Request Act. It's been over the 10 days, and if I don't get that by Friday, I'm going to start suing people personally. I have a gigantic lawsuit going, and right now, you guys are kind of hidden behind the City of Manor's sovereign immunity and stuff. But at some point, you start exceeding your authority, and I can sue people personally. So I want that Freedom of Information Act, okay? I want to know the account number and also see the GPR. We had a horrible tragedy. Donald McVeigh was murdered. His great-great-grandfather is the guy that put in the cemetery just to the left of the Manor Cemetery that was the first black cemetery in Manor in 1906. That's where Donald McVeigh should be buried. But unfortunately, you want to put 95 townhomes there. I'm trying to stop that. I have a lawsuit. It's going to the 15th Circuit of Appeals, and the stuff's going to start hitting the fan within the next 10 to 20 days. And then we're going to have a lot of action going. I'm trying to get the election from 2024 thrown out. I'm trying to stop you guys from destroying the homestead, the Manor Grocery. I'm trying to get
You
a
have
lot.
3 minutes.
Pardon me? That's 3. Okay, thank you. So let's talk for a second. We're going to talk about the Manor Crossing shopping mall. That's HEB and Home Depot. For some unknown reason, you guys gave them $20 million in incentives. But then they took out a third of the property to non-tax generating things, an apartment complex and a medical thing. You need to claw back $7 million from them. You need to claw back 7 years. Also, every commercial development over 10 acres is required to put in a plaza. We need to get a plaza there. I'm having to do your work through the court system, and you should be doing this. You have done nothing for your community in like 6 years. You can't even put in a ping pong table, and we have $100 million. At what point do you look at yourselves in the mirror and say, man, you know, we're really doing a horrible job, and stand up and get out of here? We have a beautiful town, but it's going to take some leadership, and I don't see any over the last years. The Butler family is worth like $500 million. Home Depot's worth $300 billion. Why did we have to give them $20 million? Look at our roads. Look at the sidewalk. You can't even fix a sidewalk across the street here. Old Manor, in my lawsuit, I'm asking for reparations because Old Manor's been paying taxes and the money's being spent over there and over there and over there. I want reparations of $1,000 per homeowner for each year over the last 20 years. Manor is sitting on a gold mine. We don't need to po' boy it no more. We are rich and we need to uplift our whole community. Thank you.
Next we have, is it Ramald? Ramald Jovero. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Ramal Javero. I'm a public information officer with the Small Business Administration, Office of Disaster Recovery and Resilience. And I'm here today to share about the disaster loan programs that are available for those that suffered damages during the severe storms and flooding that happened here in Travis and Williamson County, July 2nd through the 18th. The Small Business Administration offers disaster assistance in the form of low-interest loans. Now, these loans are the primary source of federal assistance to help owners pay for losses not covered by insurance. The Small Business Administration offers these loans to businesses of all sizes, private and nonprofit organizations, but most importantly, to homeowners and renters. And for there's a couple examples. Homeowners may borrow up to $500,000. That could be used to repair, replace, or rebuild their primary residence to pre-disaster conditions. The low interest for this is as low as 2.81%, and it's fixed for and can be paid up to a term of 30 years. Homeowners and renters may borrow up to $100,000 to pay for personal property damage. That could include a personal vehicle, clothing, appliances, for example. And interest rates are as low as 2.56%. Business and private nonprofit organizations can borrow up to $2 million to repair or replace real estate. Repair or replace real estate, and to purchase inventory and equipment that were damaged or destroyed. And businesses may also borrow up to $2 million in working capital that can be used to resume until normal operations resume. The interest rates for these are as low as 4% for businesses and as low as 3.65%. So again, businesses that suffered economic injury may borrow up to $2 million. We highly encourage those who were affected to apply because they're not obligated to take the loan once they're approved. They don't have to wait for their insurance to settle. And for the first 12 months, interest is deferred for the first 12 months. The application deadline, there's a grace period right now. So the application deadline for a physical damage loan is November 27th. And for a economic injury is April 6th of 2026. For more information, those that are affected can also visit us at sba.gov/disaster. Our goal is to share this information so that those that may need it most have it. I'll follow up with an email with some of the information, and if you can share it, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Sir. All right, next we're gonna have, our public hearings. Number one, conduct a public hearing on levying assessments on New Haven, Public Improvement District. Mr. Burrell?
Mayor Council, my name is Michael Burrell, Development Services Director for the City of Manor. This item is the public hearing for, as it reads, levying of assessments for the New Haven Public Improvement District. We're available for any questions, staff as well as consultants.
Any questions, council members? There's no questions. I entertain a question or a motion to close the public hearing.
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on item number 1.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? Being none, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, did you receive any comments from anyone about this for levying assessments?
No.
No questions to the motion. No comments were provided. All in favor? Nobody opposes. Motion passes unanimously. Conduct a public hearing on the issuance of improvement area number 1 bonds for Lagos Public Improvement District. Yes, sir.
This public hearing is for, as it reads, the issuance of bonds for Lagos Improvement Area number 1. We are available for any questions or concerns.
Any questions, council members, on the improvement areas number 1? Thought I saw Greg. Yeah, he's back there.
This is me. Did you receive any comments from anyone?
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on the issuance of the City of Maynard, Texas Special Assessment Revenue Bond Series 2025 for Lagos Public Improvement District Improvement Area number 1 project.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Weir. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Messmer. Any questions to the motion? No questions. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have public hearing number 3. Conduct a public hearing on issuance of bonds for New Haven Public Improvement District. Any questions, council members?
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on item number 3.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? No question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All of the following items on the consent agenda considered to be self-explanatory by council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion on items unless requested by the mayor or council member, in which the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Consideration, discussion, possible action on approving city council minutes. Consideration, discussion, possible action on a resolution authorizing city manager to execute fiscal year 2026 traffic safety, Texas Traffic Safety Program, Comprehensive Step, Selective Traffic Enforcement Program, IDM, Impaired Driving Mobilization Grant Agreement, and to serve as the authorized official for this and future grant matters. Consideration, discussion, possible action on a water easement within Manor Village Center, and consideration, discussion, possible action regarding a bank depository services agreement with Frontier Bank and the City of Manor. Any questions or comments or desires to pull any of those out, council members? If not, I'll entertain the motion for the consent agenda.
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as read.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? Mesquire, I'm sorry. Sorry, Mesquire, any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. On to the regular agenda. Let's see. Number 8, consideration, discussion, possible action regarding ordinance authorizing and allowing an updated service credit for qualified members of the Texas Municipal Retirement System, TMRS, of the City of Manor, and increasing the rate of deposits to Texas Municipal Retirement Systems by the employees. On this one, Council, I want to bring back our legal counsel and Mr. Moore in executive session, and then we'll come right back. So the City Council will now convene to executive session pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 551 Texas Government Code. City Council will now reconvene from open session, take action on items, if any, discussed during closed executive session. All right, council members, we do have a guest here from TMRS. If you all want to ask questions, we talked about, and then we also, so we can do that now or later, based off the conversation in executive. What's y'all's thoughts? Does anyone have a specific question for TMRS?
Yes, Mr. Kenneth Oliver is here with us this evening with TMRS.
I think we can take, if it's okay, that we can table it till we get our response from our attorney, if you
Okay.
don't mind.
All right. So I just need a motion.
Mayor and Council, I'd like to make a motion that we table this item until after the executive session.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Mesquite. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Hill. Any questions to the motion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Non-consideration, discussion, possible action on Second Amendment to Chapter 380 agreement for a Butler commercial project. Jones.
And Mayor and Council, thank you. Scott Jones, Economic Development Director, City of Manor. You have before you a Second Amendment to the 380 agreement for the Butler commercial project. And this agreement is basically an amendment clarifying a couple of language details. As I forwarded to legal counsel and talked to the developer's legal counsel about, there were a couple of items that came up when they were filing for their first reimbursement of for 2025, and the language in the agreement was not consistent in the original agreement. And so we wanted to put before you a change for the effective date to change year one to the effective date of the agreement. and the change of the date of submission of reimbursement requests and documentation from April 30th to June 30th. Now, excuse me, the Travis County CAD comes out with their documentation by April 30th every year, but it takes some time then for the developer to process their information. So if it comes out by April 30th, then we've got to give them a few weeks to come up with their accounting and get the reimbursement information out to us. So it's really not fair to have that April 30th date in the agreement. So we're going to change that, provided to change that to April 30th. And then the third change in there was we noted, their council actually noted that there was an inconsistency that said 60 quarters was noted in there and 15 years. Well, this agreement was for 20 years, and so it should say 80 quarters. So, and we passed that by our legal counsel, and they approved and said, yes, it was stated incorrectly in the original agreement. So just clarifying 3 items there. So we put that in front of you, and staff recommends that you approve the second amendment.
And language in the summary form says is no fiscal impact, so it just doesn't change the cap.
No fiscal impact, and actually, yeah, it allowed, by having the first year in there, I think the 2023 and 2024 property taxes above and beyond the base taxes would be able to be claimed as reimbursement with this base year as the date of the effective date, and that will actually get the city, will allow the city, once to the repayment will be done faster, and will actually allow the city to start collecting 100% of the sales tax, 100% of the property taxes even faster. So the quicker it gets reimbursed, the monies get reimbursed, and the quicker we get 100%. So it'll actually be a positive impact.
Thank you. Questions, council members? If there's no questions, I entertain the motion.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the second amendment to the Chapter 380 grant agreement for the Butler Commercial Project with 13100 FM 973 LLC.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wade. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Wallace. Any questions to the motion? No questions to the motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Moving on to number 10, consideration, discussion, possible action regarding a resolution accepting the petition for voluntary annexation of 10.01 acres or less being located in Travis County and adjacent and contiguous to the city limits, providing for open meeting and other related matters. Yes, sir.
Mayor, Council, my name is Michael Burrell, Development Services Director for the City of Manor. This annexation request is for the Manor Business Center. If you're familiar with the location, they've made a formal request to be annexed into the city limits.
What's the timeline in regards to the annexation and compliance for existing businesses on the land?
So anything currently existing would remain as is unless they make substantial changes to the uses on the property, or they, for whatever reason, rezone. They have their legal non-conforming status as they're grandfathered in. They're pre-existing before the annexation. Mm-hmm. But in terms of timeline for the annexation itself, this regular item sets the schedule that's also included in the backup, where the next council meeting will be the public hearing and first reading. The sequential meeting after that will be the second and final reading, annexing them into the city limits and initiating the provision of services.
What about coding and signage and different things for the existing businesses?
So signage, that is something that we currently regulate, as well as subdivision, as if, concept plan, preliminary plat, final plat, construction plans for public improvements, things of that nature. That's already within our jurisdiction. But as for anything that's not compliant, it's relatively easy to fix. I am aware of a item that was brought to us earlier today. We've already started working towards a solution for that. It was just a matter of pulling permits for the signage as opposed to just putting it up. So anything like that can be addressed relatively quickly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Moore and I had a conversation about just the local businesses that are out there that are trying to, start up and thrive, and I just want to make sure that that we have policies that are, or I guess I signed. We talked about this before about some sign stuff a couple of years back. One, that maybe we have more education classes out there for small businesses that are wanting to start up, and they're finding their way to, on the outskirt areas, to business owners and landowners that are affordable and small business friendly. And, so if they're finding their way out there to them, we don't want to then make it difficult for them to have business and attract business, because it's too expensive to do stuff. So just something I think we need to look into that, and then figure out some type of incubating opportunity for those small businesses that create, they're not going to bring a lot of revenue on their start, because they're startup, and their whatever business financial plan is not, we're not talking about, 20s, 30s, 40, $50,000 of revenue a month. And so, permitting and different things like that could be a significant impact on their continuing. Don't want to have a code bring them here for rental assistance later on.
Yes, sir. And to speak specifically to this item, and with any issue with permitting or code enforcement, the direction is always to provide guidance upon initial contact, and our code enforcement officer is typically very diligent in terms of providing our contact information, letting people know what they need to do and where they can apply. And if they have any questions, even with this item in particular, I've been made aware that they came to our office recently just to get more clarity on what was needed so they could proceed. So
Okay.
we try our best to be proactive instead of reactive, but there are occasions where we fall short, and we will continue to work on it.
Okay. Other questions, comments?
Michael, is that area, is it zoned agricultural currently?
Upon annexation, it'll be agriculturally zoned automatically.
And would it come to us requesting a change?
From the conversations I've had with the owner, they intend to just maintain the use as it currently exists. As for what's intended in the future, I just don't know. I'd have to converse with them further to see what their plans are for the future of the property.
Okay. I was just curious if they put a little bug in your ear about something.
Not quite yet.
Okay. And with the water and wastewater is going to currently be, if they annex, it'll be?
So they'll continue with their existing service. We are working on extending wastewater along Beltex further north until we get to 290, as well as water infrastructure. There are plans in the works, but it currently isn't there yet. They will just continue with the service that's currently being provided.
Okay. I did have one curious question. When they do annex into us, not just specifically this one, just I'm asking in general because just had curious. Before they ever do change and hook up with the wastewater and water, do we ever go out there and kind of do like a pre-look and see what it looks like beforehand to make sure we don't incur any extra costs or something's not coming down the line shortly?
So anytime we extend infrastructure, there's extensive planning behind it. We look at our current capacity to serve, what extending infrastructure looks like, and the amount of LUEs, which is a living unit equivalent, that we can handle even with the extension of that service. Now, who we serve and how we serve them is also depending on the service area they fall in. We can annex properties that are, contiguous to our city limits, but they're not in our water service area. They may be Manville or Aqua or wastewater, the same story, or they may even be on septic, just depending on what infrastructure is available to them. So it's not that every property we annex will be on our service. There's extensive planning that goes into how service is extended or where they can tie into before it's even considered. it's also dependent upon the amount of service they need. So if it's, say, a warehouse with one restroom and they don't really have other water usage, that's pretty easy to tie into. But if you have, say, a 2,000 home subdivision, that's a lot of LUEs, and it's something you have to take into account during the early stages of planning before you commit to providing service in the event that you can't, because the last thing you would want is to say, yes, we can serve you, and then we fall short.
Exactly. Thank you for that. I just wanted the public to be aware of that. Thank you.
And I'll say, Mayor, Council, to a lot of the planning, anything along 290 or anywhere these areas, we've tried to make sure we look forward, because a lot of it's going to require some easements or some access. And so we've been very intentional in trying to make sure we talk to the owners in this case, look at it to see where we can connect, just like another property there off of Beltex and Viking Jack. This is similar to that. So this landowner was willing to donate part of his property to make Viking Jack wide enough to be extended to the west. So there was some intentions a couple of years ago to identify that as an opportunity. And same with this, if there's an opportunity to get connected to some of the city sewers, just get the easements dedicated, and then they be at their expense to tie in. You know, so.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And just one more question. What did you say the zoning was? Comes in a bag. Okay.
Well, slight correction. This was not included with the notification for this coming Friday's publication, so the timing will be slightly delayed. Instead of it having its first public hearing at the next council, it will be the council meeting after that. So the timeline will be slightly delayed.
So in November.
November.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Council members, Veronica Rivera, Assistant City Attorney. If you choose to adopt the resolution this evening to hold the public hearing, the resolution just needs to be revised to state that the public hearing would take place November 5th. And then we will also update that schedule. And the schedule would state that the publication needs to be published by October 17th.
So that would mean instead of it finishing at the first meeting in November, it would finish at the second. So just a 2-week delay.
Okay. The questions, council members? If not, I entertain a motion.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-39, accepting the annexation petition for the voluntary annexation of 10.01 acres, more or less, being located in Travis County, Texas, and adjacent and contiguous to the city limits, providing for open meetings and other related matters, and setting a public hearing for November
5th.
Can't read my writing. November 5th. And having the schedule revised for notifications.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Mesmer. Any questions? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Ware. Any questions to the motion?
Did they have to say the notice had to be out by October 17th? Okay.
Other questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 11, consideration, discussion, possible action on a resolution supporting the City of Maine submission of a Texas Internship Initiative grant application, authorize city manager to execute all necessary documentation. Council members, let me scroll down to it. So we have increasing more and more opportunities to look at workforce initiatives in our city, where Texas Workforce Commission, other entities, businesses from the Austin area looking to actually come out here and build, whether it be facilities or joint partnerships with existing businesses and facilities, school district, or what have you. Whatever it may be, they want to come out here and do upskilling and workforce development. And so this means opportunities for our people to, our residents to be able to get job training, internships, paid internships, work learning based opportunities for young people and for older people, for graduates, military interns, and so forth. It's a good opportunity to kind of lean into grants and existing programs so that we can help people pivot, find career opportunities, and continue towards the efforts of improving quality of life. So it's consistent with our legislative agenda we've had since 2022, 2023, and we revised, consistent with our mission and our city values. So this was brought to me, and I wanted to bring it to you all, one, so that you can have the information as an information item, and two, as the Workforce Commission and start to do their work to do right for the grants and set those things up, that one, they have support, that they know that they can use the city as a support application for the grant, and then also so that the efforts and benefits of the grant can be done here for our community. Questions? It doesn't cost us anything. They manage it all. So it's just one of those things where we lean in and support, and our residents get a lot of the benefits.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-40, supporting the City of Manor's submission of a Texas Internship Initiative grant application and authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documentation.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Hill. Is there any questions to the motion? Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Consideration and discussion possible action on, yes ma'am, regarding assessments request for the City of Manor's Mustang Valley Public Improvement District, Improvement Area Number 1. Yes ma'am.
Mayor, council members, Veronica Rivera, Assistant City Attorney. If you recall from our last meeting, direction was given to city staff that we get together with a developer and discuss how to deal with notices regarding the assessments, and to come back to you with that information and at your next meeting, October 15th. The developer and city staff did meet, and developer respectfully requested if they could present to you tonight. City administration agreed to that, and so you have developers team here to answer your questions directly and to also provide you an update of their project and how they are dealing with the notices and what is taking place with the assessments, so that they also respectfully request that there's an agenda item after executive session to levy the assessments after you hear from them. They ask if you could please take action and not wait until October 15th.
Yes ma'am. Mr. John Lord. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you. My name is John Lohr. I'm with KB Home. I'm here to present some information regarding the current update on the community. I don't know, were we able to get the PowerPoint come through? Okay, all right. So you do have a hard copy of it in front of you. This is just really kind of an update and status on the community, what's going on. As you know, we consider this to be a partnership between the City of Manor and KB Home to develop the community and provide some additional features. So the second page is the map that shows the property. This is our preliminary plat. The highlighted areas in yellow are areas that we have completed construction. That would be phase 1. So those homes, the lots are on the ground. There are homes that are already built and occupied in the community in parts of the yellow area there on the bottom side of the page. Towards the top of the page is the new road, Ventura Arbor Lane, also previously known as Anderson Road. And that section of road highlighted in yellow has been constructed and completed. And then the area in green and the area in blue is the park space and the detention pond. And I'll go more detail on that a little bit later into the document. So you have that as a reference. Again, the next page, I'd just really look at this as the partnership with the City of Manor. It did many things for the community, provided for major on-site and off-site infrastructure. First off, we were able to annex the property into the City of Manor. And as part of the additional work we did was a water line extension from FM 973 from Gregg Lane across the frontage of our property, and really importantly across the frontage of the Manor Independent School District property, because without someone else to do that, the line there would be no reason or motivation to extend that line. By extending it, we create a loop effect for the rest of the water system, create more opportunity for water delivery further down the road. The water line extension also went through the property from 973 back to Ventura Arbor Lane and through phase 4A of our project, which is Ventura Arbor Lane construction. We also, as a part of that, it should be noted that we were able to transfer the property from the Aqua Water CCN into the City of Manor's CCN. So again, another benefit on revenue share, a revenue benefit for the city, as well as improving the system. As part of that whole process, KB seeded some funds by prepaying all of our wastewater impact fees to facilitate a regional wastewater service. Approximately $1.5 million. I don't have the exact number, but pretty close to that. As I mentioned before, Ventura Arbor Lane has been completed on the western boundary of Mustang Valley, and this is known as Western Phase 4A. And then in addition to that, we will dedicate the right-of-way for the extension of Cameron Road running west from FM 973 on the northern boundary of Mustang Valley, and that'll be completed with Phase 3 of the community. That those plans are in review with the City of Manor right now. So, and I'll get to a little bit more update on the other phases of the project as we go to further back. I'm going to move on to the next page. It really kind of shows some of the community development activity that's taken place. As part of our development agreement, there were certain things that we agreed to do with the city, and provides a great benefit for the city as well as our community there. We have the standard required park land and features, but then there's additional park land. We have a pavilion with picnic table, trails with park benches, 2 dog parks actually, basketball court, playground, green belt. We added split rail fencing for an enhancement around the park, landscaping and irrigation, and then there's masonry walls at various places in the community, at the entry to the community and on Ventura Arbor Lane. And then in addition to this, although it's really not directly part of the PID, it's part of the development agreement, I think it's well worth mentioning, the HOA will maintain that parkland. So it's not a burden on the city there. So it's a win-win for everybody there. And then finally, there's some additional features. One of, I think, is most notable in the development agreement, that the homes have certain masonry requirements. And I won't go into the details on that, but we have met that requirement. We're continuing to work with that to provide attractive housing. I'm going to turn the page, by the way. If there's questions along the way, I'm glad to answer them, but I'll just keep going until I have something. Current development activity. So as mentioned, phase 1A and 1B. The differentiation there is that we did our model home lots on a different phase. So just, a few lots right there to get the models going. But then it's all of the first phase of development that's on the ground out there, which you can see. And I think I included some pictures in what I sent last week to give you some initial information on that. The city park is 100% complete. The dog park and the trails and the basketball court and all the other features, they're on the ground now, and they're accepted and ready to go. There's on-site and off-site utility lines, all that work to extend water and wastewater to the property and serve the property, as well as to extend it beyond the property's boundaries. That work is complete. Phase 2 is our next phase of residential lots. There's 112 lots in that one. That's been approved, and we're currently going to bid with our contractors to get the best price that we can, and then start the work on that later this year. So that could happen in the next couple of months. We'll have the next phase of construction going on to bring more lots onto the property. And then phase 3, those 128 lots there are designed and they're in review with the city, and that's the completion of the development. So those 3 phases of lots. The other phase is phase 4 is for the road. So we've really moved along quite rapidly on this, and things are on the ground and in place to see out there. Thought we'd talk a little bit briefly about the next page is the Area 1 PID assessments. The PID assessments will begin in 2026 with the first payment due in January 31st of, apologize, I lost 2027 off the end of the page there. And I think that's important to note because when we started this process, we originally were going to have PID assessments due in 2026. But as this process has gone on, those were delayed, and they will be going, instead of having 30 annual assessments, we're only going to have 29 annual assessments. The assessment amount is actually going to be even less than what was projected and provided to the home buyers as they were shopping for their homes out there. That PID term then will be 29 years with a final payment at 2055. The PID assessments are not going to exceed $17,525.93 per home. Again, that's a reduction from what we notified them about when they were shopping for the home, when they were signing their mortgage documents, and when they were at the closing at their home. All the buyers were notified. The number was higher based on the information we had at that time. So less payments, lower amounts on the payments, and lower amount on the total. Always a good thing to be able to tell somebody. The home buyers received their PID assessment notice from KB Home prior to signing a contract on the home. So when they came in and they were shopping for the home, we said, there's a PID here, and here's some information about it. Here's a notice on that. It included the backup and detail of what that PID looked like. So we're thorough from day one on this to make sure that we're good on communication. Following that, when they went to meet with their mortgage company, and most of the time it was KB, but for the most part, they met with KB Lending Services. And again, they were informed about that PID and how that assessed them and how it would be important on their qualification for their loan. So they make sure that they had, the proper income and the proper amount that they're going to be paying, including the PID assessments. So that was provided to them. Then, as we went to the closing, one more time we came back around and had the title officer review with them the PID notice. So they had that information back in front of them again, listed all the details on the amounts and the years and what was going to be paid year in, year out. So that was again there with them. They signed that, and that document has been recorded along with their deed. I have that information available. I'm ready to send it to you. We're going to coordinate on exactly how to get that big file of documents over to the city, but it's all ready to go in hand, documenting all that's taken place. I wanted to note that as part of this process and working with the city staff, we agreed that we're going to get as much information and update out to the home buyers. And I'm calling home buyers people that have signed a contract to buy a home, as well as those that have closed on the purchase of their home. Just kind of putting all those in that one name because everybody needs information. So we have mailed out to them a notice about the status on things and what's going on, and with a copy of the updated PID details, the information on the amount, the term, and the monthly amounts, the annual amounts they're going to be due on there. So we sent that out to them by mail. We're going to follow up with that just as what's the terminology? Abundance of caution. We're going to hand deliver a copy of that to their homes, and that'll happen tomorrow. So we'll put it at their front door, or for most all cases, there are some people that are in the midst of moving, so we're going to try and catch them at the old home or the new home, which one way or the other. We have to have 2 buyers who are outside the area, so we have sent those 2 buyers an email in addition to the mail out that we sent last week to them. So again, trying to get communication out to everybody. That communication lets those folks know that we're going to have an open house at our offices in the community next Monday night, where they can come by and meet with one of our representatives and walk through any questions that they might have and give them updated information there. And then anybody that can't make it to that, we're going to have a Zoom call for them so that they can have a chance to get, again, one more chance to review that with them. As well as, I think there's a notification coming from the city that's going to confirm all this information. So they're getting it from many different directions. So I think we've really done I'm excited about the community. It looks beautiful. You've seen some of the pictures I've included in here of what the community of the park looks like and the entry into the community. Like I said, it's very active out there in the community with home sales and folks moving in. So it's we're getting where we want to be. So I want to be here to answer any questions that you might have about the community, and also have my team here that can answer technical questions with regards to the PID or any other issues.
Thank you all for being here and for giving us the slides and the presentation. Council members, did y'all have any questions for them now?
I have a question.
Sir?
I have a question.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, John.
Yes, sorry.
Sorry. Nice to meet you in person.
Thank you.
I met with the superintendent today, and he was asking about the Ventura Arbor going down to Gregg Lane. I just want to make sure, are we still on track to work on that extension to Gregg Lane?
Yeah, so it's kind of really a group effort there to get that done, because we don't own that property,
Right.
but we are participating in the design and construction for that extension of the road. We have completed the plans and submitted those, and my understanding is, if I'm not quite right, they should be approved for the plans for the road construction to go there. As I understand, the city had previously secured the right-of-way to connect from there through Manor ISD's property, but there may need to be a little update on that with regards to the width of that right-of-way going through there. And then going further south from there, we've been in contact with the neighbors, not myself, but other people on our team, and have continued to try and work with them to facilitate that ongoing development. So right now, we're at a place where we probably need to circle back with the city and kind of address the status of where things are at and try and come to a solution on how to move forward, because there's different parties with different interests there between the school district and the private property owner that's adjacent to them. But we are ready to do what we can do. And like I said, got the plans done, so need to have the right of way.
The reason why I ask is that question from the superintendent is that we've shared some of those plans with TxDOT, and they've seen they're going to do FM 973 study, and they saw that there is a connector instead of having to deal with 973 traffic doing all that study. They thought that was a real good move on our part, your part, to see that we have another access to get north and south rather than have all the people go to the light to go home. So if we can work to get that in place, that allows some of those residents to have a good relief, rather than, if you've seen the traffic out there at Gregg Lane,
Right.
It's so we don't want the next phase to be a concern that we get at the council. It's like, why haven't we put that in? But we want to make sure we work with you to give another safe access for the EMS too and fire department.
Right, we're obviously done our part on our site. We've constructed the road from end to end across our property, and it doesn't serve any homes back there. And right now, I think I actually haven't driven that little stretch back off Anderson Road, so it's kind of a road to nowhere in a sense, but it's there and that part's ready to go. Right. Now the other improvements are off site, and we have to work with the group on that.
Yes, sir.
So we stand by ready to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, council members, Veronica Rivera, Assistant City Attorney. I just wanted to clarify, and that's the great thing about having consultants here as well, that the action item that's on your agenda, it's action item number 17, is to set the public hearing for levying the assessments, not that you're levying assessments tonight. We're asking that you approve the preliminary service and assessment plan and proposed assessment roll, and then we would hold the public hearing coming back on October 15th. So just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Questions, council members? Okay. I guess we'll give y'all direction. We'll give y'all direction later. Okay. All right, City Council will now convene into executive session pursuant to provisions of Chapter 551 Texas Government Code, and we'll be back for the other items after that.
Specifically because bonds were priced today, and so the SAP was revised to include that. And then there was, I believe, a date that was also changed. Rob with P3 is here. Hayslip, if you would like more information, or if you do entertain a motion, just please include the revisions that I've just mentioned.
Okay. Well, what language of, with revisions provided by legal count?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Council members, any questions, or is there a motion?
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 803 approving the 2025 amended and restated service and assessment plan and assessment role for the Lagos Public Improvement District, including the collection of the 2025 annual installments and revisions as stated by legal counsel.
Motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? No questions to the motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Consideration, discussion, possible action on ordinance, City of Maynard taking, making, finding a special benefit to the property in New Haven Public Improvement District, providing for a method of assessment and special assessments against property in the district, approving assessment roles for the district, levying special assessments against property within the district, providing for payment of special assessments, providing for penalties, interest, and on delinquent assessments, establishing a lien on property within the district, providing, approving a special and assessment plan, providing for related matters in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code, providing an effective date and providing for severability. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, council members, Veronica Rivera, Assistant City Attorney. Again, under this item, bonds did price this morning. It was very favorable, and all bonds were sold. If you'd like to hear from any of the consultants or staff, by all means, let us know. They're all here to provide additional information.
If there's any additional questions, please, we'll take questions or I'll take a motion. Do we need any language adjustments on this one?
This one's before the bonds. The next one's the bonds.
I apologize. This is the SAP as well, and yes, the SAP that was in your backup was updated and provides the numbers that from bond pricing. So again, if you can make a motion with the revisions that I just mentioned.
Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 804, making a finding of special benefit to the property in the New Haven Public Improvement District, providing for the method of assessment of special assessments against property in the district, approving assessment rolls for the district, levying special assessments against property within the district, providing for payment of the special assessments, providing for penalties and interest on delinquent assessments, establishing a lien on property within the district, approving a service and assessment plan, providing for related matters in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code, providing an effective date and providing for servability, also including revisions by legal counsel.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item number 15. Consideration, discussion, possible action on regarding ordinance authorizing the issuance of City of Maynard, Texas Special Assessment Revenue Bonds Series 2025 Lagos Public Improvement District Improvement Area Number 1 Project, approving, authorizing an indenture of trust, a bond purchase agreement, limited offering memorandum, consider continuing disclosure agreement, and other agreements and documents in connection therewith, making findings for respect to issuance of such bonds and providing an effective date. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, council members, again, this is, these are actually for the sale of the bonds for the Lagos PID. And what I mentioned previously, the bond pricing took place this morning and all bonds were sold. So everything was favorable this morning. And again, consultants are here if you'd like to ask them any questions or have them provide you additional information.
Okay. Is there a motion on the floor?
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 805, authorizing the issuance of the City of Maynard, Texas Special Assessment Revenue Bonds Series 2025 Lagos Public Improvement District Improvement Area Number 1 project, approving and authorizing an indenture of trust, a bond purchase agreement, a limited offering memorandum, a continuing disclosure agreement, and other agreements and documents in connection therewith, making findings with respect to the issuance of such bonds and providing an effective date.
That motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Moving right along, item number 16. Consideration, discussion, possible action on the ordinance authorizing the issuance of City of Maynard, Texas Special Assessment Revenue Bond Series 2025 New Haven Public Improvement District, approving and authorizing an indenture of trust, bond purchase agreement, and limited offering memorandum and continuing disclosure agreement and other agreements, discussion and the connection therewith, making findings for the respective issuance of such bonds and providing an effective date. Yes, ma'am.
Again, Mayor, council members, the bond pricing took place for New Haven this morning as well, and all bonds were sold. The bonds were favorable, and consultants are here to answer any additional questions that you may have, or if you would like additional information.
Okay, council members, is there a motion on the floor?
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 806, authorizing the issuance of the City of Maynard, Texas Special Assessment Revenue Bonds Series 2025 New Haven Public Improvement District, approving and authorizing an indenture of trust, a bond purchase agreement, a limited offering memorandum, a continuing disclosure agreement, and other agreements and documents in connection therewith, making findings with respect to the issuance of such bonds and providing an effective date.
A motion on the floor by Councilwoman Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Weir. Any questions to the motion? Being none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right. It's at 9:52. Moving right along to item number 17, consideration, discussion, and possible action on a resolution of the City of Maynard, Texas, determining the cost of certain authorized improvements to be financed by the Mustang Valley Public Improvement District, approving a preliminary service assessment plan and including a proposed assessment rules, calling for notice of public hearing. This says for October 15, 2025, to consider an ordinance levying assessments on property located within Mustang Valley Public Improvement District, directing the filing of proposed assessment rolls and the city secretary to make said proposed assessment rolls available to public inspection, direct city staff, and publish and mail notice of said public hearing and resolving other matters related to the foregoing. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, council members, again, you heard from the developer who respectfully provided a presentation on the current status of the project and is now requesting under this item that the PSAP be approved along with the proposed assessment rules, and that a public hearing be held on October 15th to levy assessments, and they are here to answer any additional questions. We also have P3, Rob Hayslip with P3 to provide you any additional information on the PSAP.
Okay, council members, are there any additional questions or questions that you have for our guests? I'll entertain questions or a motion. I'll ask again for questions or a motion. All right, I'll ask for the final time, questions or a motion.
Mayor Council, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-41 of the City of Manor, Texas, determining the cost of certain authorized improvements to be financed by the Mustang Valley Public Improvement District, approving a preliminary service and assessment plan, including the proposed assessment rolls, calling for notice of public hearing for October 15, 2025, to consider an ordinance levying assessments on property located within the Mustang Valley Public Improvement District, directing the filing of the proposed assessment rolls with the city secretary to make said proposed assessment rolls available for public inspection, directing city staff to publish and mail notice of said public hearing, and resolving other matters related to the foregoing.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Weir. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilwoman Wallace. Any questions to the motion? No questions to the motion. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right, council members, we had an item on the agenda that we tabled into executive session. We're going to go back to that one. That's number 8, consideration, discussion, and possible action on ordinance authorizing and allowing an updated service credit for qualifying members of Texas Municipal Retirement Services, TMRS, of the city of Manor, and increasing the rate of deposits to Texas Municipal Retirement Systems by employers. Were there questions, requests for a presentation, or a motion for this one, council members? Was there any questions or comments? I'll entertain questions, comments.
I had a question. For the amount that was set aside for that would include the increase. Does that also include the vacancies? If the vacancies were filled as well, does it also include those potential spaces?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Yes, ma'am, it does. It goes across the board. The additional 100,000 was what after what was already currently budgeted before the 8% was coming out back, I think, in the first July and August during the first meetings. And then when it was finally announced that it was going to hit in September, we added it too in case we could.
So does that mean that we can assume that there's still enough money set aside to cover the vacancies if they were all filled, if it remained at 7% as well?
Yes, if it remains at 7%, nothing changes.
Okay.
It'll just have that extra money sitting in the retirement section of each department's line item, and it'll just sit there.
Okay. Does it sit there forever if it never?
No, it's just like a
increases?
regular budget. Every year it'll go away.
Oh, okay.
And the 8% isn't going away. If now is not the time, or you can, I also gave a couple different options. I had Kenneth get us a couple different ones, doing the 8% without the updated service credit. That kind of gives you a little bit more. There's 3 of them options, one that stays at 7, one with the updated service credit, and then one without. And I also attached the different cities within a 50-mile radius, and they'll show you the cities that do updated service credits yearly, and they also do cost of living on the retirement, which we don't. We've only done updated service credit once, which was back, I thought it was 2016. It was 2018 when we did it, and that's the last time we've done it. That's the only time.
More questions or a motion?
Mayor Council, I would like to make a motion that City Council do not approve the ordinance number 800 authorizing and allowing an updated service credit for qualifying members of the Texas Municipal Retirement Systems (TMRS) of the City of Manor, and increasing the rate of deposits to the Texas Municipal Retirement Systems by the employees.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Hill. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Hill. Any questions? Hill, any questions to the motion?
So the motion is to not approve. Is that what she said?
To not
Okay.
approve. Okay. I think, Mr. Moore, you have the direction on the next steps. To go from there, and then we'll just wait to hear back and go from there. Okay. Other questions or comments? We have a motion on the floor. If there's no additional questions, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right, the time is 10:03 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.